everyone and welcome back to my channel! If you are new here, I'm Uni and I love making art in my own style. On my channel, I show you the complete process of creating my drawings and paintings, talk about art supplies and share inspiration, advice and tips with you. If you love art like I do and want to have a good time creating together with me, subscribe to my channel and leave a like under this video, thank you! Today I am going to take you on a slightly different creative journey. Firstly, I will be using a medium that I have so far excluded from my work – dry pastels. The last time I used them was almost 15 years ago at school, when I was doing artwork for an art class. I remember the dusty feeling on my fingers, the slight mess they left behind, and it was this memory that came back to me when I decided to give dry pastels another try. I would like to thank Lightwish for trusting me and giving me the opportunity to work with them again. Thanks to them, I have the chance to work with the medium again. And not just any pastels, but a high-quality set that surprised me with the intensity and the vibrancy of its colors, as you will see later. I also have to admit one thing. I'm so sorry it's taken me so long. As you know from the last video, I've had a pretty intense time, but now I can fully focus on this project and really give it my all. That's not all the news. This time I am also going to try a completely different style, a more realistic approach with a focus on detail and light and a softer palette. What's more, it won't be a character or stylized illustration. This time I've opted for something completely classic. I've gone for tulips. This will be a real challenge for me, both technically and artistically. I hope that this slight change of direction will enable me to explore new aspects of my work and perhaps inspire some of you to try something you haven't done for a while. Fingers crossed! Be sure to let me know what you think of my work in the comments. I often use mixed media techniques in my work. This approach gives me a great deal of freedom when creating an artwork and allows me to make the most of each medium. Rather than limiting myself to one tool, I combine different materials to achieve effects that could not be achieved in any other way. The thing I appreciate most about working with mixed media techniques is the balance between control and accident. Each medium behaves differently and requires a different approach, but they all come together to form a consistent whole, as long as we allow them to complement each other rather than dominate. For me, mixed media is not only about experimentation, it's also a way to grow. It's a way to go beyond my own habits. It's a way to dare to make new artistic decisions. I believe it's worth trying, even if the end result isn't entirely predictable. It's often in this uncertainty that the greatest creative potential lies. If you are wondering whether it's worth mixing and matching different techniques, the answer is definitely yes. If you are already doing it, I would love to know which combinations work best for you. Personally, I love using watercolors and colored pencils together. You may have noticed that I never use watercolors alone in my work. They are always combined with another medium. For this piece, I chose to mix 3 different techniques: alcohol markers, coloring pencils, and dry pastels. Each of these media served a different purpose in the drawing. The alcohol markers served as a base, enabling me to quickly cover larger areas with color, create smooth tonal transitions, and highlight contrast. The next layer was dry pastels, which added softness, depth, and subtle blurring to selected sections. Finally, I used coloring pencils to achieve the precision needed to bring out the details, such as the texture and contours. The Lightwish Artist Grade Soft Pastels set is of a high quality and offers a wide range of carefully selected colors, available in 24 or 72 shades. As you can see, I managed to get the larger set. It's a tool designed for artists at any stage of their creative journey, from beginners to experts. The incredible fine, powdery texture of pastels is what makes them stand out. This texture makes color application extremely smooth and simple. This means that larger areas can be covered quickly, and tonal transitions and subtle gradients can be built up easily without excessive pressure or multiple layers of color being needed. However, I did notice that when applying more layers, the paper started to peel off and would not take anymore. However, it's difficult for me to judge objectively, as I wasn't using paper specifically designed for dry pastels. According to the product description, Lightwish pastels allow for depth of color, soft contrasts, and striking color combinations that perfectly express character regardless of the surface chosen. This versatile product gives you the freedom to experiment while providing control and comfort, combining functionality with a high level of aesthetic appeal. The Lightwish Dry Pastel set surprised me in many ways, not only in terms of quality, but also in terms of how multifunctional it's at different stages of the creative process. From the moment you first come into contact with the material, it's clear that this is a refined product. Each pastel has a softly velvety texture that renders the pigment perfectly without the need for strong pressure. This makes the process of working almost intuitive and very smooth. What I really like is how easy it is to blend colors and create tonal gradients. Simply smudging the pigment lightly gives subtle, natural results. For this illustration, I tested various methods, such as wipes and cotton wool, but ultimately rubbing with my fingers provided the greatest control and the best results, giving the color a soft, matte, and slightly blurred appearance. It's perfect for adding depth and dimension to the design. The set includes an impressive 72 colors, and it's not just about quantity. The colors are highly pigmented yet easily blendable, allowing for subtle shading. This gives you a lot of creative freedom, from strong highlights to almost ethereal blurs. The packaging is also deserving of a mention. It's both thoughtful and solid. The pastels arrived in perfect condition, not a single piece was damaged, which is not at all obvious with this type of material. It's a detail that matters because it shows the attention to quality at every stage. If you are looking for dry pastels that inspire experimentation and encourage you to find your own solutions, Lightwish is definitely the right choice. It's a tool that supports and inspires the creative process. In the Lightwish package, I also found a unique accessory, a swatchbook that immediately caught my eye. It's not just a simple sketchbook, it's a practical tool that has found a permanent place in my studio. This swatchbook is a specially designed sketchbook with printed rectangular boxes for color testing and cataloging. Each page allows for the separate sampling of a particular medium, dry pastels in today's case, but it can also be used successfully to test the shades of markers, colored pencils, watercolor paints or inks. Thanks to this layout, I can compare pigmentation, texture, and color intensity on an ongoing basis, eliminating the need to reach for random sheets of paper. This tool really makes my job easier, especially when I need to quickly select the right shade or see how colors look next to each other. Having everything organized in one place makes the whole testing process more convenient and aesthetically pleasing. For those who work with multiple types of media, the swatchbook becomes a kind of personal color catalog, a structured palette that you can always refer to. This small but thoughtful addition shows that the Lightwish brand really understands the needs of artists. I've never come across a tool like this before, so I am delighted by its invention. Looking back, I realize how much I missed having a space of my own, a moment to myself to focus and create without feeling rushed. I'm really happy to be drawing again and engaging in meaningful projects. Collaborating with art brands again is not only a new opportunity, but also a huge source of motivation to keep growing. Despite having an intense and demanding career, I have the strength and determination to focus on what is important to me, my passions, my creative dreams, and the love of my life who supports me daily and gives my life meaning. It's this inner balance that gives me my greatest strength. Once again, I would like to thank the Lightwish brand from the bottom of my heart, not only for trusting me with their unique pastels and giving me the opportunity to test them, but also for inspiring me to rediscover the joy of creative work. Collaborations like this are about more than just testing products. They are an opportunity to share something real, authentic, and creative. For that, I am truly grateful. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. See you soon, bye!